this is Crossfire. Welcome to another video of Unity 3D and Playmaker, and today we're gonna look at some update to the FPS system that I was working on. And this time I came up with some great updates. Suppose I did the muzzle flash system, and I did some particle effects, some explosive barrels, and some physics. Okay, I'll just play the scene so that you can understand what exactly changes I made to the scene. So we got our previous gun, the same thing which we modeled in Pro Builder, and we have some cubes with their rigid body property on, so that we can actually that was, you can see that I added aiming through sight. That is basically I'm clicking my right mouse button, and when I'm holding it, the gun comes to the middle of the camera and we can aim through sight and even shoot. As you can see, there is a muzzle flash and there is a bullet drop that when hits the ground it makes a noise. So, and you can see that the sound is not that precise, but I actually made a collision event for the bullet drop, and when it hits the ground it plays the sound, but the sound is not exactly timed, so ignore that. And we can see that we have a bullet going in front. I'll actually reduce the sound though so that you can actually hear me. Okay, now I guess you should hear me. And now we have this barrel, and I said when I hit it 3 times it would emit smoke, and the smoke is basically a particle system that I created from some texture. So if I just hit this again, we have an explosion, and the explosion actually does not have a basic visual, but I will add that soon. So this is what exactly I updated the FPS system. So let's go into what exactly the FSMs look like. We have the same old shooting, and we have these two that would actually make it look like the recoil, and it would actually, this is not that important, it would create a bullet and the bullet goes forward, and we have a muzzle particle. And these, the particle systems, all the visuals in this scene I will be explaining in other tutorials, but for now we will be understanding how exactly we work the mechanics. And actually I'll show you this basic dropout, which you can see here. Okay, this might be actually small. Okay, this is a spawn point for the bullet dropout, so I'll leave it there, and you can see that it is here. I'll go to Playmaker and then bullet drop, Prefab, and this will be adding force, and it will be spawned here, and it will jump like this and hit the ground. The second FSM would say when it hits the ground it would play sound, and then it destroys. So that is the basic change that I made to make it look natural. So So we have another thing. We have this explosive barrel where we hit it 3 times and smoke comes out of it. So the script is basically collision event, and the tag is respawn, that is which I applied to the bullet. Sorry for using a completely unrelated tag, but I was in a hurry, so it would add an integer, it would create an integer, and it would add a value of 1 to it every time it hits with a bullet. So, and then it would be comparing the number of hits to an integer which is 3, and if it is equal, then it would send an event called hit, and hit goes to state 3 and it would activate the smoke, and as soon as it gets hit again, which is the collision event, and it would go to an explosion, and this explosion will be caused right where the position of the barrel is. So that's the basic idea, and we can look at some other things as well. And yeah, aiming is a basic thing. I said get mouse button, which is the right mouse button, and I stored it in a bool. Then I did a bool test. This thing is secondary. The first actions are these, and then if I right click, then it would send an event called aim, and this is basically a reference object look through sight that is right here, where the gun would move to when I press the right mouse button. So that is basically what I did here. It is an itween move to, and then it would get this same bool that we created in the first state, and if it is false, then it will go to the first state. So if I release the right mouse button, it would go back to its original state, which is here. So that is basically what I try to implement, and I actually changed the collider on the first person controller, and I was experimenting on bullet holes, but there was a problem that when it hits the surfaces, the normal was not actually being read. So I had to create 4 different prefabs of bullet holes and then spawn them according to the surface. Suppose this is facing towards the player, in the z-axis, so this would be spawned with a bullet hole facing this side, so facing this side or this side. So that was applied to different directions, and there were 4 or say 8 if you take into consideration both the sides of the wall. So that's what I tried to do, and that's basically it for this update, I guess. Yeah, we will be looking at some effects that I made. You can see that this is a simple effect that I created for the bullet hitting a surface. That looks cartoonish, but that would do for a beginner. So we have muzzle flash. Okay, that was created in the first episode of this tutorial series, and we don't need that much. So we have this muzzle particle, which actually does a little bit better than the previous muzzle particle system. So we have muzzle smoke as well. This muzzle smoke is basically smoke with a limited period of time. So if I hit stop and then play, you can see that there is a simple smoke like texture going off and then going transparent. So that is basically what I tried to do in the particle system. So that's the basic thing, and I was working on a blood splash which would be spawned at a NPC or say AI in the game, and we will be creating an AI and he will be shedding blood, I guess. So that's it for this episode. I will see you in the next video. This is Crossfire signing out. Please like the video if you enjoyed this, and I will be making videos more regularly than I was this time. I was sorry for being late. So that's it. Bye.